I actually didn't jump at virtual right away because one of the things I realized was my world's about disruption. Like that's one of the main things I talk about, and all of our books talk about. Unselling was about the new customer experience, which was the disruption of customers' experiences, and unmarketing is about the world of marketing, and then unbranding is about leadership and disruption most of the time. And one of the craziest parts is I couldn't, with good conscience, sell a webinar unless I knew every single part of this. Like before, a webinar was a webinar, but now it's the only thing. And so I took 4 months to learn all of this stuff because I used to show up at a gig. I had the luxury of doing 60 a year for almost 10 years leading up to the pandemic. And this is all I wanted to do since I was 12, literally. Since I was 12, this was my goal, my dream. But I used to show up to gigs like a Vegas DJ. I'd show up with a USB stick and be like, make me look pretty, and I'd go on stage, and then that was it. And we had PSAV and everything else. Although I got mistaken for the sound guy every event I was at, it was different. So now there's like, this is it. You are IT, PSAV, you're the performer, director, switcher, everything else. So it was like, no, I can't sell it. So it was 4 months of kind of going through all of this type of stuff and learning it to a level that if this camera freezes, I can, without flinching, I can keep going and talking here until I hear a click and I know what's going to happen. And that's only through reps. And that's how I always got improved in speaking, was reps on stage. Well, when you don't have the reps and the fire in virtual, you're setting yourself up, and there's no turning back. If you sell a webinar and you come on and you're like, oh yeah, no, I got it. And you try to, push off a tech check and this here, and then it doesn't work. It doesn't matter where the fault was. It doesn't matter if it was Rogers or Cogeco or Bell, and it doesn't matter it was a local blackout in your neighborhood, whatever it was. You didn't have contingency plans, and it's just not professional. So it was a long lab time, and I'm happy we're at this point, because then I get to do things like this, and I can talk in the slide and bringing it up, and even doing this. So right now I'm looking at the slide on my monitor, but it looks like I'm talking in the slide to the side. So it's like this meta type of thing, which is always fun. And the way this works for me is that I can't see you right now. Okay, you're over here. So you had to learn to talk to people like this, right? So I can't even see you. I can barely see Martin's head right now off in the corner here, but it's right about here. So when you're talking, you got to learn to listen without making eye contact. And that's what I said to one of the groups was, if you want to make eye contact with everybody in the Zoom room, you can't look at anybody. And it's counterintuitive to people to be able to do this. And that takes reps, again, to the point where you have to, do the Post-it note and but look here and put it under a camera. But we have to get used to this, because that's what disruption is. Disruption is change without time to resist it. And that's the best definition we've been able to use in the books and in person, was where you see that. Now, when I talk about disruption, I didn't mean this. We weren't predicting a pandemic when we talked about all our disruption things, but it still holds true, right? It's that we can't control these things. So what can we do? And that's why we worked on this and got to the point where we could do these thirds and kind of make it look almost seamless, depending on what we are doing and who we are talking to.